Good morning, everybody. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make my homemade pizza dough. This is a very easy, foolproof recipe, and I use a rapid rise yeast so I can make it the same day. This one I make about 6 to 8 hours before I'm gonna make my pizzas, and it is perfectly risen and ready to go. 1.5 cups of warm tap water, about 110 degrees. Probably add in about half of this. This is 3.5 cups of all-purpose flour, and I saved off like the last third of it in that cup, and I'm only gonna put in about half right now. So I'm gonna get this going for a second, and then I'm gonna add in my yeast. Most doughs you have to feed your yeast prior, so you have to put the yeast with the warm water and the sugar. With this pizza dough, you don't have to because I use the rapid rise. All right, now I'm gonna add in my packet of yeast, just like so. And then I'm gonna add in the remaining amount of flour. With this recipe, I do use the normal paddle attachment on my stand mixer. I find that it mixes the dough a little bit better. I do have a hook, the hook attachment you can add on there, and I know a lot of people use this for dough, but I don't like it because I find that there's still pockets of flour within my dough that are not mixed in. So I find that this really mixes my dough a lot better. And if you don't have a stand mixer, you could very easily do this by hand, like what we did with the pasta. So that's just an option, but I choose this because I think it's a little bit easier. All right, and after about a minute or so of mixing it around, and I added in that last third of a cup of flour, I'm just going to pull the dough off of the paddle attachment, and then I'm also gonna help scrape it away from the edges of the mixing bowl. And to do that, you could just use a little spatula, or if you have a metal spoon. I'm just going to lightly flour my cleaned off countertop. And when you're making dough on your countertop, you wanna make sure you wash it off with soap and water. Don't use any chemical products on here. I'm gonna knead it on here for a good 2 to 3 minutes just to bring it all together, make sure everything is well combined. And when you knead, you just wanna push away from you and then pull towards you and push down. And then turn it, push, pull. And you could just turn it around as you go. All right, now that I have my dough all together in a nice ball, I'm going to put it into a glass bowl. I have a little bit of olive oil in there, and I'm just going to move it around in the oil. This helps the dough from drying out and getting crackly and breaking. And then I'll just put saran wrap over this and leave it on the countertop. And in about 4 or 5 hours, I'm gonna check on it. If it has not risen up to the top of the bowl or almost to the top of the bowl, I'll put it in an oven that is warm to about 100 degrees and allow it to sit in there for the last 2 to 3 hours. Now we're back. I've had my dough rising for about 6 hours now. We could just make this 2 hours in advance and it would be perfectly risen to be able to make a pizza. So I cut this in half, and I'm gonna use each half for a pizza. Make a nice little rectangular. All right, and leave that one, and then I'll move on to my next half. This one I'm gonna make a crust on. Have it hang over pretty equally around it if you can. And then you're just gonna kind of do like a little crimp and turn as you go. I'm gonna go ahead and make one more pizza out of this, and then I'm gonna make some breadsticks with the rest. And this one I'm gonna choose to make a round one because I'm gonna show you an option to be able to make a round pizza as well. This is my personal favorite. And the round one, in my opinion, is a little bit easier to roll out. So if you're nervous about the rolling out portion, choose round. All right, so with the remainder of my 2/3 of the dough ball and then whatever scraps I had left from the first one from the crust, I'm gonna make some breadsticks. These are my personal favorite part. And these I will actually put directly on the pan. I'm not gonna preheat that pan. All right, and then this last little piece of scrap here, we're gonna do a little experiment here. I'm gonna actually bake it in a glass Pyrex pan with mozzarella cheese on top and no sauce, and kind of make like a gooey cheese bread. All right, so I got this last piece of dough stretched out, and now I'm gonna put a good tablespoon, 2 tablespoons of oil in the bottom of this one, because this one's basically gonna be the dough frying as opposed to just baking. This is not Weight Watchers approved. All right, I'm gonna set it right on in the oil, and just go ahead and push it to the edge. Now that I have all 3 of my pizzas done, my Italian cheese bread and crazy bread, I'm gonna let them sit for no more than an hour and a half to rise. Okay, now I'm just gonna poke a bunch of holes in the bottom of each of the pizza doughs, and then I'm gonna sauce and cheese and then put on any toppings you'd like. I cooked the pizzas at 350 degrees until they were golden brown and done. Enjoy, let me know if you try the recipe.